But even down to high school or junior high ball, have you ever seen a coach dress down in the middle of the game at halftime and go out on the court and fix and solve everyone's problems and win the game for the team when they're losing? No. Why? Because he's the freaking coach. It's not his job to sometimes do the work. It's his job to guide, coach, empower, and make people believe they can do their part. And so be a coach. As a king, it's not your job to go out and fight every war. It is your job to plan, strategize, educate, and support your army.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be. If this is your first time here, I am Blair Armstrong, and this is Old Guys Still Rock. As I said, if this is your first time here, this is going to be the best damn episode you've ever seen in your life in the podcast world. And I tell you that because we have 120 other episodes, and if you don't believe me on this one, go back and watch the other 120. And then on my left, and possibly your right, depending on how this comes out, editing, is the other host of this show and good friend of mine for almost 30 years, Brent Wright of Brent Wright Incorporated, a man with many different hats. We are on a limited time frame, so if you want to know more about Brent, we're not going to give him a big accolade this week. Go back and watch our 120 other episodes because we really do kick ass. We're undercover because we don't have sponsors and we don't have advertisers. We are grassroots. But I promise you, if you find something out of one of those 120 other episodes, and if you like one of them, then hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. I don't care if it's Spotify, YouTube, Amazon Music, Apple Music, iHeartRadio, all of the big names that you listen to your podcast on, we are on. So find the one that you like the most and hit that subscribe button. So every week when we come out, you get to hear us, and you not only get to maybe get help for yourself, but here's something that you can go out and help others. And over these last couple of weeks, that's kind of what we're talking about. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So really not a lot of long introductions. Sometimes Andy says this, we're just going to get right in the mud right now. And actually someone told me something today. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, Happy Junior Friday. I'm like, what? What does that mean? And I go, who's Junior Friday? And she goes, it's Thursday, dude. It's almost Friday. So it's Happy Junior Friday. I'm like, okay. Freaking millennial talk.
I struggle with that whole, just
Happy
what you
Friday.
just went through. Happy Friday thing. It's like, why can't you just be happy you're alive every day? Right? And so my struggle with that is the people that live for the weekend are the people I don't want to hang around with.
Right. It's the truth. And I think so much has been unveiled over the last couple of months, or last couple of years. It's like, why are we just happy for today? Why are we happy for a Saturday? And there's so many professions. There's so much life. You should really just be happy every day. That's why you brought up this subject, and I'm going to let you announce it so I don't butcher it, but go ahead and tell us what we're going to talk about today.
Is, are you living it?
Yeah.
Are you living the stuff you're talking about?
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of things on this. Are we living it? Mm-hmm. Should we evaluate ourselves?
Yeah. We had some, I'll use this actually I got a couple of different things I heard today, but today I received some news, and basically we talked about in the past about building your kingdom, probably about 10, 15 episodes ago. And once in a while, an infiltrator will come into your kingdom and disrupt your life. And it's not, at first when I heard that my camp, and this could be everybody, I'm trying to build a story that relates to a lot of people. Sometimes when your camp gets infiltrated, there's a lot of emotion involved. And sometimes there's anger. I'm trying to think of the best words. What happened, what Brent just said, earlier are you living it? And we talk about a lot of great things on our podcast and hurdles that Brent and I have gone through, and hurdles that his family's gone through, my family's gone through, our friends have gone through, successes, failures, deaths, life. The point is, at one time I took a moment and just evaluated and said, what does God want me to do in this moment? And I think that you said it best, Brent. Maybe it's a timeout that God says, evaluate. You do a lot of good for a lot of people. This is God talking to me in my head. You do a lot of good for a lot of people, and you do as best as you can to help out as much as you can and give them words of advice and be an ear or a hug, whatever it is. Hear, help, hug from Ken McCumber.
Yeah, that's amazing, by the way.
Yeah. And so when the subject came up to is, are you living it? And you have to evaluate, even though that it's not my situation, but it's in my camp. And you have to evaluate what are some of the things that you're doing in your life that you have to maybe make some halftime adjustments or some fourth quarter adjustments. You talk about it a lot, but are you living it? So I absolutely love this subject. And, you know, you've gone a lot through the last couple of years with your family, causes you some evaluations with business, with kids, with wives, same thing with everybody. We're not on this island all by ourselves.
Volunteer work.
Yeah.
Volunteer work has been a real big one.
Yeah.
I've sacrificed my family to volunteer for others.
Yeah, and right now where you are, I didn't get to say that. Yeah, I mean, Brent's typically, I'm in Palm Desert, California, just for you guys, your first time here. Brent is usually in Eugene. Now he's in Pensacola. So what he's just saying, he has a business of a wellness center, Wright Wellness Center in Eugene, Oregon.
Well, my wife has a wellness
That's
center.
True. My apologies. April should be on here. Why am I talking to you?
I am an investor in a wellness center.
The bottom line, you're across the seaboard. And your sacrifice is your kids at this moment, while they're going to school, hanging out with grandma, grandpa, doing all those things. So when you heard what I just said, what popped in your head about when your camp gets infiltrated and you have to evaluate? And sometimes just so many things we talked about, looking yourself in the mirror. Is this the cross you want to die on? If today's your last day, have you accomplished where you want to? I mean, there's just so many things that you and I have talked about over the course of almost 3 years now, probably longer than that, probably 4 years now, how we do this, how we get through it when your camp gets infiltrated.
So no different than any kingdom that you've read about in any books, fictional or not. And we talked about it a couple episodes about 3 episodes ago. It's good to be king, but they're always coming for your head. Everybody wants to be king. And so your job is on the line every single day. Your job as a father, as a husband, as a confidant, pick a job that we do as men and women that isn't on the line every single day, because somebody's always trying to take it from you. And we talk about this being a faith-based discussion, or therapy Thursdays, if you will, that we talk about it, good versus evil, dark versus light. So you can't have light without darkness. You can't have darkness without light. We talked about that before. And so knowing that that is going to come every single day, every day you wake up, every day that you're blessed with another day to stand vertical and go forth, you're going to have to fight from the beginning to the end. Tell you about my personal fight. So was in Vegas last week for a conference for the payroll, and then had a 24-hour turnaround. Woke up Tuesday morning with a sinus infection from being in the smoke and the vape and the weed and the this and the that and all of the things that you get through. Even though I was in a conference center, I have to walk through the casino, which is like 30,000 steps a day to get there. Those conference centers are huge, by the way. But ultimately, I had to be here. I had to get on a plane, 14 hours yesterday on planes with half-hour layovers, no food, no opportunities to eat, no way to stay on schedule, no way to stay on my circadian rhythm. None of those things, all while feeling like a train ran through the middle of my skull. So some of the tools that I've given you guys as listeners, that I've given you, Blair, or that you've given me, I had to employ every single tool yesterday and the day before just to get through the day. And I may have failed, but I also knew that I had to live what I preach. And it was a struggle at best, all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. And even going into this morning, I haven't looked at my sleep score yet, but I'd be willing to bet you it's a good solid 50 out of 100.
I feel it.
And I have back-to-back meetings until 6 o'clock tonight, which is 8 o'clock where I'm at. And so that's why the subject came up for me is, am I living it? Am I fighting the good fight every day? And can I get through it today? Just when you think you can't get through it is when you have to. The things that happen, however, what you're talking about, the things that happen to others when I'm not guarding the kingdom,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm not paying attention, I may not know that somebody's infiltrated the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
But when I find out, it's my job as the king to figure out what's gone on,
Mm-hmm.
figure out if there was any way I could have prevented it, figure out a way if there's any way that I can prevent it in the future. So we talked about this before, past, present, future. You can't beat yourself up for the past.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be present, and then you go ahead and try to create a future that is different than the present in a more positive way. What say you about that? And then I've got a positive thing about.
Yeah. This is, a couple episodes, our wives told us, sometimes you guys get melancholy, and it's not so melancholy because we are trying to we are being the change that you seek, which we kind of ended last week's episode with. Be the change you seek. And we understand because Brent has conversations with a lot of people. I have conversations with people. Everybody that watches this episode either interacts either through social media or most likely through just with personal relationships. And there's a lot of stuff going on. So it's not melancholy. It's like we're relating to most likely something either you're going on that you're dealing with or one of your friends or family are dealing with. So what I say about what you just said, there is a lot of, okay, we're surrounding ourselves with good people. We're finding those new things and doing all those things. Once in a while, and you said when your camp gets infiltrated, another visual I came up with is once in a while, even though that you think that you are going in the right spot or you're surrounding yourself in the right person, either you can talk about the darkness and the light, or you can talk about the wolf that's in sheep's clothing. Looks like everybody you're spending time with. Everybody in your kingdom looks the same. Everyone like, okay, I've got all my positive people. These guys are making a change, da 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 da. Somehow, some way, the one that looks the same is not the same. And even though you think that you have a good look on your kingdom or you have a good watch in your kingdom, it can get infiltrated.
Mm-hmm.
It's not your fault. It happens. But what I think what Brent said the best is, how are you going to evaluate how it happened? And then how are you going to fix it? Now, one thing is to it, men are always built to fix. That's the way we're built. And there's once in a while, sometimes you just have to be support. So that's the fine line that you can, once in a while, yes, you can go right out and fix it right away and do some different things. But there's sometimes that you just not equipped to fix it. You've got to surrender that. Going back to our faith-based conversation, you're going to have to surrender that to God and say, okay, equip me with what I need to do. Put me in the places where I need to be. Put me, if I need to help, if I need to fix it, then help me fix it. If I'm here for support, I'm here for support. And it goes back to him, and we're going to use this twice now in this episode. Do I need to hear you, help you, or hug you? And in each one of those comments, each one of those sayings has tools involved with it. So that is where I am learning through this right now. I keep talking about surrendering to him and him being God. I can't do this. And the more I get along with life is I can't do this by myself anymore. I can have great people surrounding me like Brent, some other really good friends, the Ken McCumbers. There's a lot of good people in my life. But at the end of the day, there's only one powerful source that I can go ahead and surrender to, especially when your camp gets infiltrated and it said, okay.
And you're out of control.
Out of control. I don't have this. I don't know where to go with this. I need you to guide me and really stop. Gigi Matako said this, one of our episodes. Sometimes we just got to marinate in it, right?
It's got to sit in it.
And I'm going to sit in this for a bit. And
which you don't do well, and neither do I.
I don't. And I don't think any guy really sits. I mean, I don't think there's a lot of guys in there. And that's, that's a disconnect between women and men, which I know a lot of you know that, but we don't spend a lot of time in just to marinate it. Sometimes we're too reactionary instead of like, okay, let's really think this out. Let's get our emotions out. Let's talk this out. And we're like, no, we go into fight or flight mode.
One of my coaching sessions this morning was based upon that.
Yeah.
It's a couple, and I've spoken about them before, but they had two different ways that they wanted to resolve the same problem. And neither one were right or wrong. But ultimately, I sided with the wife and said, this is a very delicate and sensitive subject. And I told the guy, I said, you have a good partner beside you who has a pulse on this situation better than you. Follow her lead. And that's a tough road because as a coach, I'm not supposed to hold people accountable. I'm not supposed to tell them what to do. I'm supposed to pose the question, allow them to formulate the solution based upon the inputs and the outputs, right? But I had to step up on this one. I will tell you the times that I have taken counsel from my wife, more times out of not, it's not that she was right, but ultimately she was. It's more importantly, it's the way that she handled it with a more diplomatic approach than what I could do. And in the same situation with this guy he saw everything as a nail and he was the hammer. The analogy that I used with him is I said, you're trying to cut wood with a chainsaw when you need to be cutting wood with a pair of tweezers.
Yeah. It's a process, man. It just sometimes it's going to take a while to get things done. And when we're in an instantaneous world and there's not a quick fix, it's harder to digest. It's harder to take your anecdote to like, I've got to not only, is there
how do you apply it?
How do you apply it? What are the directions? Am I going to trust the directions, even though it says that I need to take this for the next 6 months, but I want it to work in the next 6 days?
Well, when you're out of control, that's typically where people try to push when they should be sitting. When you sit and watch and wait, there's an opportunity for exponential growth. If you push, you may have more opportunities for growth, but you're not going to like the path.
Yeah, this, I love Therapy Thursday, dude. We have talked about the silo method to this, and this infiltration of the camp just makes me go back to is our lack of communication, our disconnect. Even though we could be side by side, somebody have not seen the signs that should have been seen. And then it does affect the person that's right next to you. It's a little, as you said too, the pill is hard to swallow because I should have seen it. It was on my watch. I missed it, or I didn't spend enough attention to address it. And so I hope that this episode, as we continue forward with this conversation, I hope that point is the biggest point, one of the biggest points out of this episode. Brent has come a long way. I am, but he's got a marathon of a way to go that he'll tell you that himself. I have a long way to go. But communication has to happen right now. And it's not just spousal communication. It's friendship communication. It's people on the street communication. I really want you to hear this when I say there are a lot of wolves, not as many as us, but there are a lot of wolves in sheep's clothing right now to separate us. And we talked about this last week. We have to somehow find those together. I don't care if you're black, white, lesbian, transgender. I don't care.
Brown, green, purple.
Brown, green, whatever. I really don't. I don't care. I may not agree with a lot of those things with us, but at the point of it is we talk about unity, and this is more of it goes back to what Brent's topic was. It's just we have to find out who those wolves in sheep's clothing are, no matter what side of the fences you sit on here, and we have to not only expel them, from our society in general, whatever which way that may be. But we have to first of all identify them and then get them out. And but then we all have to come together, because I think 99.999% of all of us want one thing. We just want to be happy, and we want to be understood, and we want to work together. Now, I know that
And we
is a
want our family safe, and we want, all the things that we've talked about exponentially, right? Like
yeah,
we didn't wake up to AK-47 fire. How many times have I said that in the last 5
yeah,
episodes?
yeah. I mean, there's just so many things. And I think we all want to be heard. I think we all want the same thing. We all want to be loved. We all want, and I get that. But until we expel those wolves in sheep's clothing, it's hard. So yes, go back, evaluate your kingdom. How can you be a better king? How can you help your community? So there's just a lot. And I know that I don't want to make it so that I'm rambling, which I kind of am, but it's the point of it is that we've got to be better pay we have to pay better attention to everyone. Start micro and then go macro as you get better, as your bandwidth gets better by the more people that you bring in. Like, hey, I know that I was on the right side and you're on the left side, but now we're kind of in the middle together. We may have some differences, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we want the same thing. We want everyone to get along. Everybody wants that.
Well, I use this analogy, and you're gonna be very proud of me.
Okay.
I used a sports analogy today in one of my coaching sessions.
Shut the front door, dude.
Yeah, 100%. Um, and this is the same question I would pose to you. Have you ever seen a coach in professional, minor league, major league, NCAA, whatever you want to, whatever? Again, I'm not a sports person, so hopefully those are all correct and up to date currently. But even down to high school or junior high ball, have you ever seen a coach dress down in the middle of the game at halftime and go out on the court and fix and solve everyone's problems and win the game for the team when they're losing? No. Why? Because he's the freaking coach.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his job to sometimes do the work. It's his job to guide, coach, empower, and make people believe they can do their part. And so be a coach. As a king, it's not your job to go out and fight every war. It is your job to plan, strategize, educate, and support your army.
That's really good, dude.
Thank you. I try. Some days I get it.
No, you get it. We get it a little.
Ironically, I don't feel like I'm on my game because I'm on Sudafed, Allegra, antibiotics, all the things, right? But I figured, what the heck? I'll give this a shot. So I can't.
Are you on Tylenol?
Tylenol. Yep. Actually, I'm not. I'm on Genexa, which is the cleaner form of acetaminophen. It's still acetaminophen, though. I didn't have choices, man. I 14 hours of travel, pressure, cabin
Yeah,
pressure, all the things. I didn't have a choice. It was a pretty horrible day yesterday, and like my wife said, I couldn't have protected her yesterday if I wanted to.
yeah. And sometimes
They
that
don't.
happens, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's just the way that life is for a little bit. You can't always, as I said, there's days that kings are going to fail. There's
Yep.
days that the darkness is going to be a little bit darker than normal, and it's getting through those. And all we have, we talked about this last week. All we have is today. We're going to do the very best. It's just you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. But it's how you're going to okay, what did I learn from today? How do I become this? Okay, and I need to make these adjustments. We're in constant evolution to become better, learn our lessons, take our licks. There's going to be some days that we don't get any. It's going to be clear sailing. The roads are going to be smooth. The oceans are going to be smooth. And you got blue sky and 82 degrees and whatever the best thing you can come up with. And that's just what it's going to be sometimes. So yeah, I think the biggest thing is, and I know I say that a lot, is just, are you living what you're preaching?
And I want to head towards the positive on that when you're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So Sunday was our free day in Vegas. Now, bear in mind, I rented a VRBO and we were staying at a pretty nice place. It was homey. It had a homey feel to it. It had a pool, so the kids were able to get in the pool and hang out and things like that. We have family and friends there, so they all came over to the house and hung out with us. Sunday was our free day, and we had a plan for the free day, and the plans fell through. So I woke up. We all woke up on Sunday, and I said, "What are we going to do today, guys?" And nobody had a plan. They were looking at me for a plan. I'm the leader. I said, "Okay, let me think about this." And I could have went to scarcity mindset and just said, look, we're going to, we spent good money on this place. We're just going to hang out in the pool today. But I decided to practice what I preach, to make every day like it's your last day. And I got online and I booked us a 4-hour helicopter trip into the Grand Canyon. Now, this is not cheap, guys.
It's not.
This is a month's salary to a lot of people.
Yeah.
To a lot of people. And to the surprise and dismay of my family, they were excited and trepidatious about it. But the look on their face, buddy, you wouldn't even believe the look on my kid's face. My daughter and my son have experienced exponential growth, just like I have, through me, because of me, and because of my wife, probably more than most kids. This was an absolute surprise to them. My daughter's like, "Are you freaking serious?" And like started jumping up and down and squealing. And my daughter's very stoic. She's very animated, and she's very passionate about her cooking, and she's very passionate about a lot of things. Right now, Stitch is her thing she's super passionate about. This made Stitch look like a 1 compared to the day before. Stitch was a 9 or a 10, right?
Right.
And my wife's like, she looked at me and she's like, "What did you just do?" I said, well, "I can't talk about it. I can't preach it without doing it. I am living today like I'm not going to live tomorrow. And we're going to go spend the day, and we're going to go see things we've always wanted to see and do things we've always wanted to do. And the money can be replaced. I'm not going to live a scarcity mindset." Would it be cool to, sit by the pool? Not a bad gig. Most people would have been just right there with that. But that was me living in a scarcity mindset, taking a lackadaisical approach to the day and not pushing the limits. Well, first off, not pushing the limits of my credit card. Secondarily, not pushing the limits to my family to grow. They were all nervous. None of them have been on a helicopter before. I've talked about owning a helicopter. I've even been on a helicopter. We talked about that for my 50th birthday. Just so you guys know, context on that. Yep, woke up on my 50th birthday and decided to jump into an auction with Heavy D. Everybody knows who Heavy D is.
Hell yeah. Ain't nothing but love for you, baby.
Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Heavy D the artist. I'm talking about Heavy D the guy in Utah that runs Diesel Brothers.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, that's all right, but still, he's got he was bidding on the same Black Hawk helicopter that I was bidding on, and he won. Now, who wakes up on their 50th birthday and decides to jump on a government auction and bid on a $250,000 Black Hawk decommissioned helicopter that's going to take $1 million to put back together?
Right.
Now, I'm talking about living it, guys. Practice what you preach. I've told my kids all along, anything they can have as long as they set their mind to it. They don't take it away from somebody else. Okay, don't facilitate your dream while taking away others' dreams.
I asked this before because we've gone down this subject before, or actually this common thread before. Does that make you better than anybody else doing what you just did?
No, it makes me the bare minimum of what I require for me. My bare minimum is excellence. We talked about this before. Shoot for perfection, settle on excellence. You said it 1,000 times. My bare minimum is excellence. What kind of a dad would I be if I tell my kids, you can do anything you want? And they ask me, Dad, why aren't you? Why aren't you doing anything you want, Dad?
Are you living what you're saying? And some of you guys who may be listening may have what Brent just said. You can be whatever you want to. This has been talked about a lot, not only in this podcast, but other things in books. Maybe somewhere along the line, that dream got crushed, but it's still burning inside you. And maybe somewhere along the line, you guys are a little bit older in life or a little bit seasoned in life and you say, well, I just, it's too late. It's not too late. Got an amazing amounts of talent that are still inside you. God made you with a great, great, great purpose. And Brent has that standard. It's his standard. You may not like his standard. That's okay.
Most people don't, by the way.
He doesn't care. It's not your standard. It's his standard. And if you don't like his standard, that is your prerogative. But you can't be mad at him for having a standard. You may have a standard. People who are watching this or listening to this, whatever it may be. Just because your standards don't align doesn't mean you can't work together to help each other get that standard to where you need to be. We've said this so many times, and I think this is one of the biggest missing links in society. You are made to be great. Everyone can have a kingdom. They're unlimited. How you want to build it is up to you. It could be really big or it could be really small. But are you living everything that you're talking to people? If you're a sales guy, like, I'm really good about this and da-da-da. Are you really living that life? Are there some chinks in your armor that maybe you have to knock the dents out and go ahead and shine them up and then kind of get back on the horse to go back to war again? It's okay.
It's not too late.
It's not too late, man.
If you have breath in your lungs, it is not too late.
One of the things, and you and I have been listening to Andy for, gosh darn, a long, long, long time. And Andy can be a little bit rough to listen to once in a while. He has a standard.
If you're a sissy.
Yeah, a sissy. I mean, he has a standard. You may like Andy's standard or not like. I don't like Andy's approach. I think he swears too much. Okay, well, have you, instead of listening to the language, or actually listen to his say?
Listen to the message.
Listen to the message, right? You could go to church, like you have a couple different pastors. I really don't like the way that this pastor comes across, the way that he presents. Well, did you listen to the message? Peel back the stuff. That I understand that the communication may not hit your ear the right way, but what's the real message of this? But listen to Andy's podcast 2 days ago, yesterday. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. It's the first time, because usually Andy's crowd's super, well, younger, 30 and under, kind of right around that age. And it was the first time that he really addressed that I don't care if you're 50, 60, 70 years old. There's still opportunities for you to be great. But it's up for you to decide when that's going to happen. And I think that is a lot of us, which we've talked about too. And that's why I said we have 120 episodes. So if you want to verify this stuff, go back and watch them because they're in there. Your window is never closed. It's always open. It's up to you if you want to go see how much of it's open. And I guarantee there's a crack in there somewhere that you can put your fingers in there and open it wide open and go back and chase the things that you have. I had that feeling sometimes. The window's closed. I don't know how to get through this. I may be past, I might have missed my prime and do some things. But then I look around, especially in my world, I see 85, 90-year-old guys still running marathons, still freaking kicking ass in business, still making great relationships, still making great impacts on society. And I'm only 57. So
well, we talked about this, about my good friend George. He was 89 years old, and they put him on hospice. And hospice to him meant that he was going to die by Friday. This was Monday when they put him on hospice. He said, everybody that I've known, they put him on hospice, they're dead by the end of the week. I have until Friday. Called me up and he's like, hey, I'm going to need your help doing a couple of real estate deals. Like, all right, let's do it. I said, George, why are you worrying about this? He goes, I only have 4 days left. Staring death in the face. He's wanting to execute and buy more real estate. Like, if that doesn't give you the amount of warm and fuzzies and the energy to go out and execute on, I mean,
that's awesome, dude.
You're not on hospice.
Yeah. Yeah. Every day.
4 days left, and he's trying to execute on buying some additional properties to further his kingdom. They told him, George, you're on hospice. You know what that means, right? He's like, yeah, I'm dead by Friday. Let's go buy a house. Let's go buy a property.
Yeah. Job not done, right?
Job not done until job done.
Yeah. God's going to tell you when job's done. Till then, you just keep going. There's days that you want to curl up in a ball and cry and kick and scream and throw shit and be mad and angry. And those are fine. Emotions are good. It gets it out. Don't suppress them. Get them out. If it's too much, let somebody know.
Use them. Let them turn.
Yeah.
Anybody who's old enough to be listening to this and is an old guy that still rocks or old gal that still rocks, is watch Red Dawn, the original one with Patrick Swayze.
Yeah.
Don't cry about it. Let it turn to something else and use it.
Yeah. You know, we talk a lot about this because we're guys in this stuff, but it's becoming more and more of an issue too. Is like if you have friends that you see that are struggling mentally, it's your job to, and I know you're really good nurturers, don't try to fix it sometimes, but be there for them. There's some stuff going around right now that we just have to really pay attention to. As I said too, there's some wolves in sheep's clothing that are portraying
Well, and you never know
something else. Right. Go ahead.
You never know what can trigger somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
So we're going to continue this on to it. I think the last couple of weeks have kind of been the same common thread, but Brent and I are kind of finding this is more and more important to get out there because this is the stuff that people are not talking about. And we're giving you solutions to be that king, to be that leader, to be that servant leader, to go ahead and equip yourself to go out and share this with others. At the same time, we want you to share your story of how you use this episode to help somebody else or help yourself, so other people can help this. This is a pay it forward type of podcast. And then when you pay it forward, it's going to help us because it's going to teach us some different things that we can go ahead and adjust our lives to become better because of the things that we helped you with. So it is a give and take on both sides. But as I said to you, beginning of the show, if you are watching this episode or go back some other episodes just to kind of check us out to see if this is a vibe for you, definitely hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit that notification bell, whatever it is to whatever you're watching. But we need you guys right now. Screw CNN, screw Fox News, screw MSNBC. Those guys are not giving you the tools to do stuff. Screw Facebook, screw Instagram. Yes, we're on it because we're trying to get our message out. Not everything is on there is bad. The problem is we're trying to be a solution, but we need you guys to be a part of that anecdote to be the solution. That's my soapbox. Final thoughts for you, dude.
Man, just really evaluate what you're doing every day and if it is making a difference. And if it's not, don't hesitate to reach out to us. We strive, we pray for all of you to go make a damn difference every day.
Every day. Love you, brother.
Buddy. Likewise.
That's all I got, man. Go out there and give my best to April today. Say hi to our past guest, Edna and Caitlin. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. Some cool stuff happening for you guys. So anyways, guys, that's it for this week. Really, really watch this episode once or twice. Figure it out. Go back, watch the other 120 episodes as well. Go out and make a difference until we see each other next week.